Hey friends, welcome back to the Daily Health Shift. It's Daniel here. Today's episode is going to be a little different. I want to get real with you. We're talking about anxiety in 2025. Why it feels like everyone's dealing with it. Why it feels louder and heavier than ever. And more importantly, what we can actually do about it. No fluff. No toxic positivity. Just honest conversation and 3 practical steps that have helped me and countless others learn how to manage anxiety in a noisy, overwhelming world. Let's be honest here. If you live in the modern world, anxiety almost feels like the background noise of everyday life. It's like we've all accepted feeling tense and overwhelmed as part of being an adult. But when you really sit with it and ask yourself why it feels so intense now, compared to even a few years ago, some patterns start to show up. First, think about how we consume information. Back in the day, you'd get your news from the morning paper or the evening news. Now it's constant. There's no off switch. Your phone pings at 2 a.m. because something happened across the globe. And your brain doesn't know the difference between urgent and important. It just knows something is happening and you should be alert. That creates what psychologists call hypervigilance. Your nervous system is always on, always scanning, always waiting for the next problem, and it's exhausting. Now layer on top of that the sheer volume of choices we have to make every day. What to eat, what to watch, what to buy, where to go, how to reply to messages. Decision fatigue is real, and every micro decision adds a little bit more weight to your mental load. Add in social comparison from social media, work pressures that don't turn off because remote work blurred the boundaries, and suddenly it's not just a stressful moment, it's a lifestyle of stress. Another layer people don't always notice is what happens with technology and pace of life. Things move so fast now that if you're not constantly updating, learning, keeping up, you feel like you're falling behind. And that fear of missing out, FOMO, isn't just about parties or social events. It's career FOMO, financial FOMO, personal development FOMO. You feel like everyone else is building businesses, investing, leveling up, and here you are just trying to get through the day. This constant feeling of not enoughness feeds anxiety like fuel feeds a fire. And one thing I see especially now in 2025 is post-pandemic adjustment. People spent so long in survival mode, locked down, isolated, routines shattered, that relearning how to live normally feels foreign. Social anxiety is up because we're out of practice. Decision anxiety is up because our sense of control was shaken. And let's not forget environmental stress. Climate change headlines, political tensions, economic uncertainty. It's like every corner you look, there's a reason to worry. Your brain is doing exactly what it's built to do. Look for threats. It's just now, instead of saber-toothed tigers, it's tweets and notifications and news tickers. So when we talk about anxiety feeling worse now, it's not in your head, pun intended. It's a very real, very logical reaction to a world that's moving too fast for our ancient biology to keep up with. And that's why learning how to manage it is so important. Not to eliminate anxiety completely, because that's not realistic, but to dial it down from a constant roar to a manageable whisper. Now let's get into the practical. And I want to say up front, these aren't magic fixes. Managing anxiety is like managing your physical fitness. It's not about doing one workout and suddenly being fit forever. It's about small, consistent habits that add up. So the first shift I want to share is naming the feeling. This comes from both therapy and neuroscience. When you put words to a feeling, you activate a different part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, which helps you process instead of just reacting. So instead of letting the anxiety swirl around in vague dread, pause and literally say or write, "I feel anxious because," even if it feels silly. That small act of labeling gives your brain a sense of control. The second shift is breath work. And I know you've probably heard "just breathe" 1,000 times, but the science is real. When you slow down your exhale, you engage the parasympathetic nervous system, the part that calms you down. Try this now while you're listening. Breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 4, breathe out slowly for 6 counts. Do it 3 or 4 times, and notice how your body starts to relax. It's not about giant gulps of air, it's about rhythm and slowness. Third shift is boundaries, and this one changed my life. Anxiety thrives in chaos. Too many tabs open, both on your computer and in your mind. Setting even one small boundary a day lowers that noise. For me, it's turning my phone on airplane mode after 9 p.m. For you, it might be saying no to an extra work project or deciding not to check emails first thing in the morning. Boundaries aren't about shutting life out completely. They're about creating little pockets of safety and calm. And here's the deeper layer. When you practice these 3 things consistently, your brain starts to rewire. That's called neuroplasticity. You're training yourself not to live in fight or flight all the time. And that's where real change happens. Not from one giant leap, but from lots of small, steady steps. Just like strength training or learning a new language. This is where we take everything from theory to reality. Because knowing things doesn't help if you don't have a plan. So let's talk about building what I call an anxiety toolkit. Think of it like having an emergency kit in your car. You hope you don't need it every day, but when the moment hits, you're ready. For me, my toolkit includes physical things: a journal, a playlist of calming music, essential oils with lavender or peppermint, a pair of running shoes. But it also includes habits and reminders, like texting a friend when I'm spiraling, or stepping outside for fresh air, even if it's just for 2 minutes. Everyone's toolkit looks different. Some people have prayer or meditation. Others have art or crafting as a way to calm down. The key is practicing your tools when you're not anxious. That way they feel familiar and accessible when anxiety does show up. Because here's the truth. In the middle of a panic attack or deep anxiety moment, it's hard to think clearly. That's why you want your habits built in advance. Another part of the toolkit that people overlook is mindset. Reminding yourself that anxiety is temporary, that it doesn't mean you're broken, and that you've survived every anxious moment you've ever had. You have a 100% success rate so far. Sometimes writing that down and putting it where you can see it helps more than any fancy app. And if anxiety feels bigger than something you can manage on your own, that's okay too. Therapy, counseling, support groups, those are part of the toolkit too. Reaching out isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Just like going to a doctor when your arm is broken doesn't mean you failed. It means you care enough about yourself to get help. All right, friends, that's it for today's episode. If this helped you in any way, do me a favor. Subscribe to the Daily Health Shift, leave a review, and share this with someone you know who might be dealing with anxiety right now. You never know who needs to hear that they're not broken, they're human. Next week, we're diving into productivity without burnout. How to get things done without losing your mind in the process. I'll see you then.